guests, welcome to today's bbcan 9 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are John D. Elmstead Jr. and Carol Zamochin Miller. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong, but thank you so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Yeah, it's a great value. But anyway, when we left off yesterday, we've got a lot to talk about. But when we left off yesterday, we've got Ro and Tara up on the block. Ro won the power veto, and he will, of course, be using it on himself. And we know that Beth is planning to put Victoria up in his place. She is the new target. And everybody knows about this plan except for Victoria. So just from this info alone, it's not looking good for her at this point that nobody has, leaked this info to her. It really just shows that she's, truly alone right now. But everybody is expecting mayhem when Victoria goes up on the block. So they're all like, oh my god, when's this POV ceremony happening? It wasn't until today, but we are going to talk about it, and we're going to have some fallout from that. So the feeds were on and off throughout the day yesterday. I don't know if, BB gave them any sort of Easter celebration or anything. I didn't hear them, talking about it, but the feeds were off for, a while. So at one point, we've got Tina and Tara chatting in the backyard, and Tara is still nervousing. You know, she's hearing that Victoria is going to be going up on the block, but she's still like, what if this is all fake? She's hoping that this whole backdoor Victoria thing isn't just a ruse. She says it would be super messed up if the other side is just toying with us right now. Oh my god. And she's saying that would be cruel. So then they talk about jury management, and Tara's like, I'm not going to be bitter, but if someone intentionally makes me feel like garbage, they're not going to get my vote. I think that's fair. She says that's the reason why that friendship guy lost to Josh. She's talking about Paul from 18 and 19, but that season specifically was 19, right? Yeah. Terrible season. But yeah, they feel like it wouldn't make sense for Beth to be doing all this unless she was actually putting Victoria up, which is true. Can you imagine if this was all just some, scheme to keep Tara calm, but then it would, get back to Victoria and she would be pissed about it? So, it's a whole thing. Just as a clarifier here, too, Beth is planning on actually putting Victoria up, but Tara is freaking out. Okay, so then Tara says if Beth saves her, she's not going to be looking at Beth next week. She's not going to be targeting her. She says she's only looking at one person as a target. And that person is the one who lays with Beth. It is Jed. But she says she's not sure how to even go about targeting him at this point. Tina says that Jed and Ty would have to be up on the block together. And Tara says, we've already let Jed get too far into this game. There were so many shots that they could have taken, and now he could win this whole entire thing. And Tara is still really lamenting over not winning the invisible HOH. She was so close to it, but she couldn't seal the deal. And she's like, that would have been the perfect opportunity to take out Jed. And she says she's mad at Victoria for what she did last week, taking out Austin when she could have gone for somebody like Jed. So yeah. Okay. I just found where I was in my notes. It's been a long day. So then Beth and Ty were chatting in the HOH room, and they're talking about what else? The big move. That's all anybody can really talk about at this point, except for Victoria. So Beth is trying to figure out what she's going to say in her POV speech, and she's kind of workshopping some things with Ty here, and she says, some people play this game lying, manipulating, backstabbing. If you're going to play that way, be careful who you cross. Things are about to get spicy. V, take a seat. Ah! She's like, I want Victoria to know that I know that she's been talking smack. Ma'am, this is a member of the jury, a potential member of the jury. You really want to be making a speech like that? But again, the house guests don't know that the jury is starting this week. Big Brother hasn't officially told them that yet, but still, like, they gotta know there's a chance, right? You're really gonna be saying something like that? I mean, it's not terrible, but I wouldn't be happy if somebody made that speech about me. So then Ty says that he's been working on his goodbye message for Victoria. Something like, you probably were the invisible HOH. You know why? Because we saw right through you. And he's going to say, I've been in a 6-person alliance since day 2. I guess he'll list all the people. And then he's like, you threatened to put me up. You came after my people. Not to mention, you tried to pin the invisible HOH on me. And then I'll be like, sorry, V, I love you, but you had to go. Again, this isn't your... I don't know. Okay, so then Ty says that Victoria has been playing them. And they've got to hit her before she hits them. And according to Beth, Victoria was digging for a secret POV in the ball pit for like hours yesterday. We didn't see that on the feeds, as far as I saw anyway. I didn't see that anywhere. But yeah, a couple of people said that she was like digging around in there looking for something. Is Victoria like picking up on the vibe, or did somebody say something to her? Like, what's going on here? So Ty says it sucks that they have to do this because Victoria is such a great character. But at the end of the day, it's a game. Agreed. Like, I so enjoy watching Spicy V on this show. I don't agree with every game move that she's made. I think last week was a huge mistake on her part. And it sucks that she's in trouble this week, but it's a game, right? So, anyway, Beth is really worried about what Victoria's campaigning is going to be like this week. They know she's going to be good. I mean, look at how well she handled, well, covering up, anyway, her invisible HOH last week. She's a great liar, and she gets along great with people, so it's going to be tough, but they feel like they've got the votes locked in because you only need 3 in order to have at least a tie this week. So you figure they have Jed, Ty, Brayden's going to do whatever Beth wants. Tina, there's no way she's going to vote out Tara. So that's 4. They feel okay about it. But Beth is also kind of paranoid that Victoria's going to get Ty and Jed to turn on her and keep her this week. And Ty's like, are you serious? Can you imagine, though, how crazy that would be if Victoria got the guys to turn on Beth? Oh, my God. So then at one point yesterday, Victoria and Tara were chatting, and Tara is playing it up like she thinks Tina will be the replacement nominee. And Victoria's encouraging her, like, don't give up, just be yourself. You know, do what you gotta do this week. And then after, Tara was talking to Tina, and she's like, Victoria doesn't seem nervous. She doesn't seem to think that she could be going up on the block. She's going to be so blindsided after the ceremony. So Tara is crying. I think the guilt is really starting to get to her about this blindside, especially since she's going to be the one on the block next to her. And Tina's telling her, don't get upset. You're here for your family, and people's dreams are being crushed every week. It's just the nature of the game. All right, so then this is where it got a little bit interesting because Victoria started making the rounds last night, and I'm wondering if, like, the diary room tipped her off or something, that maybe she could be in trouble this week, or maybe she just realizes that people are treating her differently, kind of like walking around on eggshells around her. Something is not right here. So she's starting to have more conversations with the throuple. So Victoria chats with Ty, and she's saying, yeah, I'm going to vote with you and Jed no matter what this week. And she asks if Tina is definitely going up as the replacement nominee. And Ty says, probably, like, I think so. So then they're talking about who should go between Tina and Tara, and they're not really sure at this point. But they're like, it's fine because we're going to have the votes no matter what. We can do whatever we want. But Victoria said she was leaning towards Tina going because nobody really brings up her name usually. Everybody's always saying, oh, I'll put Tara up. I'll put Tara up on the block. But nobody really tosses out Tina's name. So she's like, we got to take advantage of this. So then Victoria is pledging her loyalty to the Ghost Peppers, which is her 4-person alliance with the throuple. And she's saying if I won HOH next week, we would have a meeting to decide what we as a group want to do. But she's saying, like, she doesn't trust Ro at all, and ideally she would want to backdoor Ro if she wins HOH. And I think, like, she's being honest about that. I think she's serious. But Victoria mentions if they ever turned on her, or, like, if they turned on her this week even, she would be heartbroken. And she would never talk to them again. Yeah, so then at one point also, Victoria starts talking about going to the final 2 with Ty and maybe, like, getting together a final 3 deal with Tara. And Ty's playing along. He's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, I've known since day 2 that there's something here. Like, we're going to go to the end together. So then Jed joins them eventually, and they're all talking, like, Tina's going up on the block. And they talk about how it's weird that so many people haven't really campaigned so far this season. It's disappointing. And Victoria says, you guys are going to be in for an effing shock if I ever touch that block. She said, you guys are going to be hiding from me, because she would just be campaigning so much, nonstop. I mean, we're going to see. We're going to get a chance to see that. But there was just more pro-Ghost Peppers talk from Victoria. And then after, Jed and Ty were chatting alone, and they're like, oh crap, this is so dark. That they just had these conversations with Victoria, knowing that she is their target this week, and she's likely going to be the one going. So Ty is like, I'm just not sold on Victoria burning us. Like, he's not really sure if she would, like, what she would do if she won HOH. And they're starting to question the move again. They're wondering if this is the right move to take out Victoria. And Ty says, it feels like we're just doing this to do it, you know, and it wouldn't, like, have any benefit for us. Are we taking someone out who has our best interests in mind? Yes. I truly think that this is a dumb move for Jed and Ty. I don't think this is good for their games. I think it's great for Beth. I think it's phenomenal for Beth. But I don't think it's a good move for Jed and Ty. But they feel like if they save Tara this week, she will be loyal to them next week. And from what we've heard Tara say to Tina, that does seem to be the case. But, like, who is Tara going to go after if she wins HOH? There's only so many people left, you know? But Ty and Jed agree, we're already in this too deep. The damage has been done with planning this move. Like, if they didn't go ahead with it and it got out to Victoria, they'd be screwed over. And Victoria would still be in the house. Like, they feel like they've got to follow through at this point and make the move. They said, like, the email's already been written. Now we just need to press send. All right. So then Victoria also checked in with Beth in the Expedia room, and she, again, is just pushing how loyal she is to the Ghost Peppers. Beth is playing along, and Victoria says, you have my vote and my support. So then Beth, like, reported back to the guys, and they were talking about their conversations with Victoria, and Beth was just like, does she, like, know what's going on? Like, what's going on right now? It's really weird that all of a sudden Victoria seems kind of nervous about what's going to happen. So Victoria talks to Tina and Tara in the Destiny bedroom, and she's letting them know from the conversations that she's had with the throuple, they don't really seem to have a target this week between Tina and Tara. So she's saying, like, you guys need to campaign for yourselves. She's like, I know it's hard, but everybody just wants to hear what you guys have to say. And then Victoria's like, at the same time, I'm like, are they backdooring me? She said she can't tell if the throuple is being genuine with her in these conversations or if they're planning on backdooring her. So Tina's like, oh no, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm going to be the replacement nominee. Alright, so then this morning, Victoria is definitely still feeling sketched out. She's paranoid that she could be going up on the block. And you can tell because she even made a big breakfast for everyone. And she was getting all dressed up just in case she's going to be the replacement nominee. Alright, so then the feeds went down for the POV ceremony. And as planned, Ro used the POV on himself. And Beth followed through and put Victoria up in his place. Damn! That's a huge move for Beth. That's humongous. So we've got Victoria versus Tara up on the block. One of them will be the first evictee on a double eviction on Thursday. So when the feeds came back after that, Victoria was already talking to Beth and Jed in the HOH room. I don't know how long they had already been talking before the feeds came back, but you can tell already Victoria is keeping it positive here. She's not like freaking out on them or like yelling or anything like that. Her energy is definitely pretty high at this point. Like, she's talking a mile a minute. But it's all positive stuff. She's pushing that she's with them. She's always been with them. She's never coming for them. And she's like, I was just playing the other side. I was trying to hide our alliance. I thought that was my role in our Ghost Peppers alliance, that I was the one, you know, kind of playing the middle and getting information from the other side to bring back over. And I was getting intel for you guys. And she says, if I wanted you guys out, I would have made a move last week. You know, she has officially let them know now that she was the invisible HOH last week. And I mean, that is a good point. If she wanted to make a move on them, she could have. She could have just tried to blame it on like Austin, Brayden, or Ro. So it seems like she's being pretty honest about a lot of this stuff. I mean, maybe some of it, no, but I do feel like at this point she was planning on being loyal, at least to Ty and Jed. Beth, who knows? But at least to Ty and Jed. So Jed says, we love you, but, you know, we've been hearing stuff lately. We weren't planning on putting you up on the block, but we've been hearing a lot of stuff this week. And Victoria's saying, like, oh, that was just me, like, playing my role. She's like, you guys are gonna be so shooketh when you watch this back after the season. And Jed is like, all right, well, if you don't go home this week, where will we be at? Basically, he's asking, like, are you gonna come after us if you stay? And Victoria's like, no, I will still be with you guys. She says she's not angry, because she gets it. She messed up. She should have been more open with them about what she was doing with the other side. Should have been more vocal about it. And she's saying, I would target Ro next week if I stay. And again, I think she is serious about that. But she says, I'm a number for you guys. I'm a fighter for you guys. But Victoria does admit that some of the stuff that people have been saying she said is true. Like, she did say that she, what was it? She said that she would put Jed and Beth up on the block. There was the whole thing about Victoria, saying she was gonna throw Beth's suitcase, like, over the railing. So she's like, yeah, I did, like, talk about her suitcase, but, like, I didn't say I was gonna throw it over the railing. Like, she's admitting she did say a lot of these things, but it was because she was trying to get info from the other side, and she had to say these things so that they would be comfortable with her. And she's saying the other side was kind of, it sounds like, exaggerating some of the things that she said. I don't know. I can totally see her saying that she's going to throw the bag over the railing. Hopefully we'll get some receipts on that on the show. But anyway, Victoria is very convincing in this. I would call this a campaign. I think this is part of her campaign. So Beth is asking Victoria, did you have any inkling that you would be going up? And Victoria's like, not really. She said maybe she felt a little bit weird, but she didn't want to approach them about it because she didn't want them to be like, oh, why is she so paranoid? Like, is she not actually with us? She thought the alliance was good, so she didn't want to question that. So then Victoria says, if I did have an inkling, it was because of bananas, to be straight up. Now, bananas is a code word that they all use for production. So Victoria says they asked her a question in the diary room that made her think, like, why the F would you ask me that? So yeah, she was feeling sus about it all last night, and it's because production tipped her off. Whoa! So she really just admitted that in front of everybody. We see you, production. We see you. So, Ty comes in eventually. Victoria's going over the same stuff, pushing that even after this, she is still loyal to the Ghost Peppers. I don't know that part is true. I think maybe now that this has happened, if she won HOH next week, she'd be like, bye. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough battle for her to even stay this week. But the throuple is telling her, you're not, like, for sure out the door yet. We still have time to figure this out. and have more conversations about this. We can use this to have more open conversations that we wouldn't have had before, because now it's all going to be out on the table, and they're saying we all got to be on the same page moving forward. So Victoria says, okay, every single other person is coming after you guys. She kind of walks it back a little bit, like maybe not Kiefer, and she says she doesn't really know what Brayden's doing. Brayden is targeting Jen and Ty. She's not wrong. You know, a lot of the rest of the house, pretty much almost all of it, is after the throuple. And Victoria says, I'm still prepared to fight to the death with you guys. It's a little bit much. But she says, like, after this, people are for sure not going to think that they'd still be working together. So she's also saying she's heartbroken that they thought she would go after them. And she says, I see what went wrong here. I get it. I get why I'm up on the block. It just sucks. So during this conversation too, Jed, he kept saying like, oh, I just want you to know, like, we weren't the ones that formulated this plan. You know, everybody was coming to us and saying like, oh, Victoria said this, Victoria said that, and that's why you're up there, not because of us. Okay. So then Jed was saying there's still the potential that you stay and we can still run through this house together. So this conversation wrapped up. Victoria gave all of them hugs. She was crying. And they agreed that they're going to be talking more throughout the week. Okay. So then Beth, Ty, and Jed were chatting alone after, and they all agree, damn, Victoria is so good at this. They're talking about how they want to have a sit down with everyone, meaning like a house meeting, to call out some people on some of the stuff that has been coming up this past week. Some of the stuff that, like, Tara and Tina have been claiming Victoria has been saying. Beth specifically says she wants Tara called out about this stuff. Oh boy. Do you guys think this house meeting will actually happen? I think it could get pretty wild. But Beth and Jed say they believe what Victoria was saying. They believe her. She's so good. Ty is a little bit more skeptical about it, which is funny because earlier in the week, Ty was like, should we really be putting Victoria up on the block? Should we be doing this? And now that she's up there, he's like, should we really be thinking about keeping her? I mean, he has a point. The damage has been done at this point, I think. But Kiefer comes in. That didn't take long. From the time Victoria left the room to when Kiefer came in. So they fill him in on the conversation with Victoria. And he actually says, like, I was in the room when Victoria made the comment about the suitcase. Like, she was saying she was going to do it. And we had to tell her, like, don't do that. But they were all a little bit taken aback when Kiefer said he was in there. Because this is the first that they're hearing about his presence in the room. So I'm wondering if that's going to make them even more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, suspicious of him? Because they're definitely, their trust is shaken in him this week with all the information that Ro was giving them the other day. But as they're talking things over, they agree Ro is already safe this week. We can't have Victoria staying as well. It's just too much. And it would be a waste of an HOH for Tara to go. So it's not looking good for Victoria at this point, but you never know. Victoria is really good at this game. She's really good at talking to people. I think she's going to probably put together an awesome campaign, so we'll see what she can do. And then Tara, on the other hand, is messy. So I can totally see herself talking her way to eviction. You never know what can happen in the next few days. But then, oh my god, is this for real? I saw this on Twitter first, and I was like, is this photoshopped or is this for real? But it looks like BB locked the pantry, and they put chains on the refrigerator door, which they've done before. And there were also, like, a crap ton of bunches of bananas on the counter. Is this a punishment for Victoria spilling that production tipped her off about possibly going up on the block? That's like some freaking mafia crap with like a horse head in your bed or something. Like, that's wild. So they're definitely trying to send the house guests a message like, hey, we said stop effing talking about production, even with your little code words. So that's pretty wild, but that's where we're at right now. We've got 3 days left until the eviction, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Victoria's campaigning is like. Again, not looking good for her so far, but this is Spicy V. So anything could happen. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. And until next time, much love.